The story begins with a man calmly reflecting on his past. It has been 20 long years since he was taken from Earth and thrown into another world. After 2 decades of struggle, today is the day everything finally ends. He is about to face the final enemy and bring this brutal world to peace. Suddenly, massive explosions tear through the battlefield as meteors crash down from the sky. Dust and debris fill the air. From within the ruins, a towering creature rises, mocking him. It asks whether he truly managed to survive such an attack. If so, then his companions must be barely standing. Behind the hero stand 3 figures: a holy priestess, a powerful mage, and a loyal knight. The hero's name is Lee Yun-suk. He smirks and replies that the monster doesn't look so comfortable either. Without wasting time, both sides launch into battle. Their weapons collide with overwhelming force. Shockwaves tear through the land. The mage hurriedly raises a barrier to protect the others from being crushed. The monster growls, threatening to tear Yun-suk apart if he refuses to surrender. It boasts that this entire kingdom was built through its own strength, through blood, claws, and destruction. Yun-suk spins his weapon rapidly, deflecting incoming attacks. His grip tightens. "This ends now," he mutters. A brilliant glow gathers at the tip of his spear. The light grows brighter and brighter until he releases it in a devastating blast. This attack is known as the paradox flame. The beam cuts through everything in its path. Without giving the enemy time to recover, Yun-suk charges forward. The two clash at extreme speeds, shouting as they collide again and again, smashing mountains and shattering the ground. The monster throws a powerful uppercut. Yun-suk blocks it, but the impact sends him flying backward. Blood drips from a scratch near his eye. The creature laughs, saying such a weak strike couldn't possibly hurt it. Yun-suk wipes his blood away. "Don't be so confident," he replies. "That was enough to crack your pride." He launches the paradox flame once more. This time, it burns brighter than ever. When the light fades, the monster's crown falls to the ground. It has been defeated. The creature stares in disbelief. It never imagined that a human could rival its power. Yun-suk answers simply, "That's because I'm not from this world." The monster scoffs, saying he's talking nonsense. Even if it dies, its body will merge with the land and someday it will be reborn. But then something feels wrong. Its body begins to disappear. Yun-suk explains that resurrection will not work this time. The paradox flame does not burn with oxygen. Instead, it feeds on concepts, identity, memories, reason, and existence itself. For centuries, the monster kept returning. Now, it is being erased completely. Even so, the monster laughs. It claims that Yun-suk will never be remembered as a savior. His so-called allies are praying for his death right now. "I know," Yun-suk answers. The priestess cries out, telling him not to believe such lies. But he continues. For years, she pretended to love him. Every smile, every confession was an act. She despised him for being an outsider. Her goal was to make him hesitate when it came time to kill him. He asks if she can hear him. She trembles in silence. He turns to the others. The knight was given a sacred weapon by the emperor to assassinate him. The ruler feared Yun-suk might take his throne. The mage despised him because Yun-suk opposed slavery and human experiments. For 5 years, he had known they would betray him once the war ended. The monster is confused. With such power, Yun-suk could have conquered everything. Why didn't he? Yun-suk answers honestly. He never cared about this world. He only wanted to go home. 20 years ago, in 2005, he was just an ordinary office worker. One day, a goddess summoned him without warning. Stories often portray such worlds as exciting adventures. But this one was hell. He searched endlessly for a way back, but there was none. The only choice was to move forward. For 20 years, he trained, fought, and survived. One night, he returned to a village after rescuing a wounded child. The guards scolded him for wandering alone. The villagers refused to treat the child, claiming medicine would be wasted on someone who would die anyway. This world chose convenience over compassion. Their medical knowledge was primitive. They amputated limbs over small infections. Healers were scarce, drafted into endless wars. Priests accused villagers of being possessed and burned them alive. Cruelty was normal here. And worse than monsters were the people who had no concept of human dignity. He endured all of it. For 20 years. Now, it was finally over. After the truth is exposed, the knight admits they feel relieved but still cannot allow Yoon-suk to live. Yoon-suk sighs. I truly hate this world. The knight realizes in horror that while they tried to defeat a monster, they created one instead. Yoon-suk closes his eyes and speaks to the goddess. I've done my part. Keep your promise. The crimson sky splits open. A golden light descends. The goddess appears, praising his efforts. He reminds her that she promised to return him to Earth with his memories and soul intact. She smiles and asks if he truly wants to leave behind his glory and power. He laughs. Stop pretending. You're relieved I'm leaving. She admits that this world no longer needs him. She asks if he will regret it. There's only one thing I want, he replies. To go home. He looks at his scarred hands. This nightmare is finally over. The golden light surrounds him. She explains that his original body on Earth has died, so he will enter a new one, someone destined to die soon. He doesn't care. As long as he returns to Earth, any fate is better than staying here. His eyes open. He stares at a familiar ceiling. He is back. 20 years have passed. He now inhabits the body of a civilian named Yoon-suk. He sits up, relieved that he will never see those people again. He looks into the mirror. This is my face now, and I'm finally home. He turns on the faucet and laughs at the clean water. This is real magic. He lights the stove, amazed that he no longer needs to gather firewood. Then he notices fried chicken. Tears fill his eyes. He takes a bite. It's perfect. For years, he had forgotten how precious ordinary life was. Now, he could finally live normally again. Or so he thought. Outside, a red beam rises into the sky. He sighs. I expected this. Time didn't stop while he was gone. But no matter what awaits him now, it can't be worse than the world he escaped. After finally returning to Earth, Yoon-suk steps into the bathroom and turns on the shower. Hot water pours out instantly. No firewood, no waiting, no suffering. Cold air comes out with just one button. He laughs to himself, saying this alone beats that disgusting other world. He looks out the window at the clear blue sky and mutters that it's 2025 now. Maybe he should start with some StarCraft. Life finally feels normal. Then suddenly, a monster smashes against the window, making him jump backward in shock. He shouts, asking what the hell that thing is. At the same time, a broadcast echoes through the building, announcing that an erosion zone has appeared inside the complex, and everyone must evacuate to the underground shelter immediately. Yoon-suk stands there confused for a second, but when he sees monsters gathering outside, tapping on the glass, he realizes this is serious. He runs out into the hallway and barely escapes as they chase him. While climbing the stairs, he slips and ends up hanging from the window ledge. The monsters walk past, missing him by inches. After climbing back up, he sighs in relief, proud that he managed to shake them off. That's when he notices a little boy standing there, staring at him in shock. Yoon-suk tells him it's dangerous and orders him to hurry to the shelter. But instead of listening, the kid asks if he saw where the monsters went and if he plans to kill them, even offering to tag along. As they move together, the boy explains that it's been 13 years since Earth turned into this mess. An erosion zone is basically a gate where monsters come out, and no one knows when or where they'll appear. Yoon-suk sighs deeply, saying that he survived hell in another world just to return and find Earth becoming hell too. He wonders why the goddess would do something like this. The kid looks surprised and asks if he really knows nothing. Yoon-suk quickly lies and says he lived in America for a while. The boy immediately starts talking about some random political drama he saw on YouTube, and Yoon-suk quickly changes the topic, asking about his favorite hunter. The kid lights up and says her name is Lee Se-yoon from the Janabi Guild, ranked 10th in the world, using a giant greatsword, currently fighting monsters in Sharon. Yoon-suk is relieved the conversation changed, but deep down, he wonders how normal humans can fight monsters at all, because in the other world, only special beings could do that. As the kid keeps rambling about her YouTube videos, Yoon-suk suddenly covers his mouth and peeks around the corner. He spots 5 monsters, plus 1 hiding, making 6 in total. He knows he can handle them physically, but leaving this kid alone would be dangerous. Just then, he feels something in the air. Mana, the same energy he used in the other world. His eyes widen as he realizes it still exists here. If that's the case, then maybe things won't be so bad. He gathers the mana and releases his flame attack, burning the side of a monster's head. He mutters that the power he stored for 20 years is gone, but since mana exists in the atmosphere, he can recover. And even if his firepower is weaker now, it's enough. As the monster burns alive, the kid stares at him in awe, saying he's incredible and must have some rare ability. Yoon-suk laughs it off, just glad the kid is safe. The boy runs closer, saying that YouTube says you need to confirm the kill. Yoon-suk tells him to wait, explaining the flame won't go out until the target is dead. Suddenly, another monster lunges at the kid, blood spraying as it attacks. The boy freezes in fear, tears forming in his eyes. Yoon-suk clicks his tongue, saying he doesn't know what YouTube is, but it's probably bad for kids anyway. He asks to borrow the kid's stick. The monster rushes in. The boy hands it over without thinking. In the next moment, Yoon-suk moves like lightning, using the stick like a sword, cutting through the monsters just like he used to in the other world. In seconds, every enemy is dead. The hallway falls silent. The kid stands there speechless, convinced Yoon-suk must be a hidden hunter. Yoon-suk only sighs, saying he never thought he'd smell this much blood again after coming back to Earth. He wanted peace, not another battlefield, but this world feels no different from the one he escaped. They finally reach the underground shelter, which is packed with terrified people. When the doors open, the kid's mother rushes over, screaming his name and hugging him tightly. She thanks Yoon-suk and apologizes, saying her son is immature and troublesome. Yoon-suk notices her expensive clothes and realizes she's rich, explaining why the kid acts spoiled. Suddenly, the entire shelter shakes. A massive fist smashes through the wall. A giant monster appears, roaring loudly. Everyone panics and starts running. Even the kid shouts that they should get out of there. As chaos spreads, Yoon-suk looks at his scarred hand and quietly says that he never wanted much. He just wanted his hometown, his normal life, and peace. Was that really too much to ask? He turns to the boy and asks why someone rich like him wants to become a hunter instead of living safely. The kid hesitates, then explains that his father died when a monster attacked what was supposed to be a safe bunker. That day, he realized there is no safe place on Earth. So even though he's scared and weak right now, he wants to become the strongest hunter and erase all monsters. He admits it sounds foolish. Yoon-suk interrupts him, saying it's not foolish at all. He tells him he'll become a fine hunter someday, and even if he's not the one who saves the world, that's okay. The boy's mother calls him to leave, but he refuses, saying Yoon-suk is still fighting. Suddenly, a powerful shockwave echoes through the shelter. The boy turns around and sees Yoon-suk standing against the monster like a beacon of hope. With shining eyes, he says that's what he wants to become. Someone who saves the world. Because someone who's already done it once knows how to do it better the second time. Some time passes, and Yoon-suk admits something embarrassing. After surviving another world and promising that kid he'd save Earth, he's done absolutely nothing. No heroic training. No monster hunting. Just non-stop league matches. And honestly, it's way too easy. He remembers how confidently he declared he'd save the world in front of everyone. Back then, he sounded like a protagonist. Now, he's just a guy in pajamas clicking a mouse. The truth is, he only fought back then because he missed normal life, hot food, clean water, technology. And now that everything is back at his fingertips, risking his life feels unnecessary. Saving the world? That's a hunter's job, not his. Then reality hits. He checks his phone. Bank balance, tragic, completely empty. Turns out, the body he took over, Chan-suk's, used to work in logistics. But the company collapsed after a breach incident, and he'd been surviving on severance money. Now it's gone. Finding a job is nearly impossible. Businesses keep shutting down because of monster attacks. Yoon-suk needs money fast. That's when it clicks. Hunters get paid, and he has 20 years of combat experience. So he heads straight to the Hunter Association. Inside, applicants are buzzing with excitement. Some guys mock the exams, saying they're basically pointless now. As long as you show even a tiny special ability, you pass. Most recruits are weak anyway. While they're talking, a woman walks in and bumps into one of them. He starts yelling until he realizes who she is. Seo Yoon, a top-ranked hunter, the same one the kid was obsessed with. Everyone freezes. She checks her tablet and looks over candidates. First, she notices Han Senga, a lightning user. She jokes about whether she can charge phones. Her guard reminds her she's a fighter, not a power bank. Seo Yoon explains that talent and training doesn't always translate to real battles. Field combat is different. She wants someone who can survive real danger. Then, the announcer calls the next candidate. A normal civilian. No academy background. Completely unheard of. That candidate is Yoon Suk, listed as Chan Suk. People whisper, "What kind of confidence does this guy have?" Rules are announced. No personal weapons, no killing. Yoon Suk thinks to himself, first, get strong. Second, eat well. That's the plan. His opponent laughs, saying someone without mana stands no chance. He brags about being undefeated in spear training. The match starts. The guy charges. Suddenly, Yoon Suk disappears. He reappears behind him and punches his stomach, then steps on his foot, then uppercuts him. The guy collapses instantly. Yoon Suk shrugs, saying he avoided using his spear because he didn't want to hurt him badly. Turns out the genius was fake. Seo Yoon is shocked. She checks his profile, just an office worker. Her guard says it must be luck since he has almost no mana. She shuts him up with candy and says that's nonsense. Yoon Suk keeps winning. Again and again, all with bare hands. No matter who faces him, they lose easily. He starts wondering what these academies are even teaching. Finally, a serious-looking girl steps up, Song. The crowd cheers. She has strong mana and a lightning sword. She mocks him, saying he's been lucky so far. He replies that everyone says the same thing. The fight begins. Lightning gathers around her blade. She dashes in, using magnetism like a railgun. Yoon Suk flips over it. She's shocked. He explains that her attack path is visible, making it easy to dodge. She gets angry and fires more lightning, destroying parts of the arena. He warns her she's forcing her mana too much and damaging her body. Then he closes in. One punch. Another. A full combo. She collapses. Silence fills the arena. Yoon Suk admits she was strong, but relied too much on power instead of physical training. She raises her hand in surrender. Then an official whispers to the announcer. The schedule changes. Yoon Suk is told to rest. Next match, winner versus a professional hunter. Special. Permission from the president. The crowd erupts. Seo Yoon's guards realize she arranged this. The monitors turn on. Only the audience can see the opponent. Judging by their reaction, she's dangerous. Then she walks in. Seo Yoon herself. She apologizes for the sudden appearance and introduces herself properly. She says this stage has been too small for him. If he wants real recognition, he should fight her. He studies her aura and admits she's no fake. Fighting her will be tough, even with a weapon. Still, he agrees. The announcer is stunned. Yoon Suk says he hasn't even broken a sweat yet. She calls him confident. He smiles. If he's going to fight, he might as well fight the best, because beating her will raise his value more than anything else. The moment the battle intensifies, the entire arena falls into stunned silence. The suited officials in the audience can only stare in disbelief, their jaws hanging open, while even the announcer begins sweating nervously, struggling to keep up with what's happening. Without wasting a second, Lee Seun charges forward, swinging her massive sword with terrifying power. The impact shakes the air itself. Our protagonist barely manages to block it with his spear, but the overwhelming force sends shockwaves through his body. He grits his teeth in disbelief, wondering how someone with such a slender frame could possess this kind of monstrous strength. Sparks explode as their weapons clash again and again. The fight grows fiercer by the second. With a sudden kick, Seun sends him flying across the arena, proving once more that she dominates both in strength and close combat. She quickly notices that his movements have slowed compared to the start. His breathing grows heavier, and his body struggles to keep up with his sharp instincts. Frustrated, she mocks him, saying she expected more after he managed to last 30 minutes. Stepping forward, she raises her weapon, declaring that she'll put an end to this and let him rest. Meanwhile, our hero desperately tries to absorb mana from the surroundings, only to realize that the air is nearly empty. Exhausted and cornered, he takes a deep breath. He never wanted to rely on this power, but now he has no other choice. His eyes glow as he activates his hidden ability, Paradox Flame. In an instant, a dark aura surrounds him. Seun feels the sudden change and freezes for a split second in shock. Her next strike crashes into the ground, shattering the floor, but he barely dodges in time. The shockwave throws him backward, yet he lands safely, creating distance. She stares in disbelief, unable to understand how he avoided an attack that should have been unavoidable. She demands to know what that strange black energy is. With a calm expression, he explains that it's his special power, the paradox flame, the ability he relied on most in the other world. Unlike normal fire, it doesn't burn physical objects. Instead, it feeds on abstract concepts. And right now, the concept he's sacrificing is his fatigue. Suddenly, he rushes forward at incredible speed. Siyun's eyes widen as she struggles to react. She can't believe how much faster he's become. He shouts that he's burning his exhaustion itself, converting it into power, and thrusts his spear forward. They clash again, harder and faster than ever before. As the fight continues, Siyun starts noticing something strange. The mana in the air keeps changing, growing dense one moment and thin the next. Yet the arena settings haven't changed. That's when he explains the secret of his ability. He uses mana to ignite the flame. The flame burns his fatigue and releases more mana. That mana is used to keep the flame burning. It's a self-sustaining loop, an endless cycle of energy. As long as he keeps fighting, he keeps recovering. This makes him a specialist in long battles. A warrior who never lets go, slowly draining his opponent while staying on his feet. With renewed confidence, he launches himself at her again. The battlefield trembles as they exchange countless blows. After hours of non-stop combat, Siyun finally asks if he seriously plans to keep going. He smirks and replies that once he grabs onto an opponent, he never lets go. Then he jokingly asks if she likes persistent guys. Her response is instant. She hates them. But she also warns him that his power leaves residue. Once everything is burned, nothing will remain. When that happens, the flame will disappear forever. And so, the battle continues. For hours. 17 minutes. Neither side gives up. Finally, completely drained, our protagonist collapses to the ground and begs her to stop, admitting he's reached his limit. The referee immediately declares Lee Siyun the winner. The crowd erupts. Then, something unexpected happens. She pulls out a massive lollipop. Her teammates stare in shock. She walks over and hands it to him, revealing that her business card is hidden inside. With a playful smile, she tells him to call her later. Inside, he finds out she's from Team 3 of the Janabi Guild. Soon after, the ceremony ends, and later that day, he's seen quietly eating the giant candy, exhausted but satisfied. Back at home, he's amazed by his new digital hunter license and all the advanced technology. That's when a towering man suddenly approaches him. The man introduces himself as Yoon Sung-hyun from the Grand Purity Guild and offers him a spot on his team, promising great success. Though tempted, our hero hesitates, remembering Siyun's offer. He says he needs time to think. Yoon laughs, but then suddenly grips his shoulder tightly and warns him to choose carefully. The threat is clear. Afterward, our protagonist decides he doesn't want anything to do with that guild. He contacts Siyun and meets her at a cafe called The Cabin. There, she suggests he work as a freelancer instead of joining any guild. She explains how hunter ranks work, junior, senior, and partner, and how partner hunters share profits like business owners. He realizes that if he becomes famous enough, guilds will eventually come to him. She agrees and promises to help him find jobs for free. Soon, she hands him a file. Inside is a mission from Incheon City, an island suffering from an erosion zone. His job isn't to destroy the core, but to patrol the area and eliminate new threats. The reward? 5 million up front, 15 million on completion. He sighs, thinking the money isn't worth the danger. But she tells him plainly, if he wants more, he needs to become stronger and more famous. After thinking for a moment, he accepts. Meanwhile, in another car, Siyun discusses him with her superiors. She tells them how he lasted 4 hours against her and calls him a once-in-a-lifetime monster. Some doubt her. She doesn't. She believes that if he reaches her level, even the strongest hunters won't be able to stop him. The scene ends with our protagonist standing on the island, spear on his back, eyes filled with determination. His real journey has only just begun. The story flashes back to 1 month earlier, when a delivery worker struggles up the stairs with an unusually heavy package, muttering under his breath about who would even order something like this, before checking the address again. When Chonsok opens the door, he casually drags the long case inside and comments that it's even bigger than he expected. He unlocks it and reveals a newly purchased spear, nodding in satisfaction as he says it will work perfectly. Along with it, he has also ordered a special elixir, a type of emergency medicine used by hunters that contains highly condensed mana for critical situations. Normally, hunters absorb mana from the air, store it inside their bodies like water in a tank, and slowly release it when needed, but the elixir speeds up that entire process. However, Chansok's method is completely different. Instead of storing mana, he absorbs it and uses it instantly, pulling energy directly from the surrounding environment. This gives him an almost limitless supply, but it also puts heavy strain on his body, forcing his blood vessels to gradually adapt and strengthen over time. Until that process is complete, he can't unleash massive power in short bursts. Knowing he doesn't have time to wait, Chansok opens the elixir and decides to start building up his reserves immediately, believing that 1 month of training should be enough to prepare him. Soon after, he arrives at the harbor, where long lines of hunters wait to board. After showing his phone, he's directed to Team 8's section and stands there as everyone impatiently wonders when they'll depart. That's when Senga approaches him, joking that his hair looks calmer than before, and he replies that hers only looks different because of static. She points out that they're on the same team and suggests working together, admitting that he's stronger and she wants to learn from him. He jokingly says carrying her might dislocate his shoulders, but she seriously warns him that chronic injuries are dangerous, making him realize she doesn't understand sarcasm. Suddenly, an officer calls everyone to attention and begins the mission briefing, explaining that corruption zones are ranked from unclassified to grade 1, with lower numbers being more dangerous. He adds that the island's first zone, labeled an alpha zone, is located near a church in northeastern Insari, and warns them to stay away since it will only grow stronger. Their task is to patrol the island and destroy newly forming zones. Some members question whether rookies should really be doing this kind of mission, but soon the boat reaches the shore, and several hunters comment on the eerie cold in the air. Chansok dismisses it as exaggeration, and as they disembark, an official announces that the offshore command center will monitor everything and provide support if needed. While the team discusses their strategy, Chansok suggests they establish a base at Wagasa and operate from there, claiming they can monitor both main targets from the mountain peak and use the ruins of an old temple as shelter. The others question his authority and criticize the location, warning that climbing a mountain could trap them, but Chansok calmly argues that monsters can't surround a mountain like an army. Despite his reasoning, several members refuse to follow someone with no experience, and the group eventually splits up. As Chansok heads into the forest, Senga follows him, along with another hunter named Kim Min-jae, whose mana is even higher than hers. When asked why he's tagging along, Min-jae explains that since this is their first mission, he doesn't want 2 rookies operating alone. Chansok appreciates his concern, calling him the only reasonable person so far. Suddenly, Chansok halts and signals them to stay quiet. Peeking ahead, they spot dozens of goblins roaming the area, easily more than 50. Min-jae suggests retreating, calling the situation suicidal, but Chansok remains calm and asks about his specialty. When Min-jae says he uses fire and excels at fireballs, Chansok immediately forms a plan, instructing him to attack on his signal. Senga agrees to help without hesitation, shocking Min-jae, who insists they should call for backup. Chansok explains that the other teams are spread along the coast and won't arrive in time, and if they hesitate, the monsters could scatter and threaten others. Realizing he's right, Min-jae agrees to fight. Chansok quickly outlines the ambush, ordering Min-jae to blast the center while he controls the flanks and assigning Senga her role as well. Impressed by the precision of the plan, Min-jae wonders how someone so young thinks like a veteran. When the goblins remain unaware, Min-jae steps out and fires a massive fireball, instantly incinerating several enemies. Afterward, he warns that he needs time to prepare another spell, and Chansok tells him to take his time while he handles the front line. Charging forward, Chansok explains that true combat depends on efficiency and clear role division, eliminating approaching goblins with swift strikes while keeping them away from Min-jae. Senga joins in, slicing through multiple enemies effortlessly. When Min-jae announces that the next fireball is ready, Chansok orders him to fire without hesitation. The explosion shakes the forest, and Chansok flips backward through the smoke, landing smoothly and tightening his grip on his spear as he urges them to finish the rest. After a fierce battle, the final goblin falls. Chansok plants his spear into the ground and praises his teammates for their teamwork, relieved that they succeeded. But before anyone can relax, Minjae suddenly raises a gun and presses it against the back of Chansok's head, instantly freezing the atmosphere. So the scene starts with Chansok looking at Minjae like, "Bro, why are you standing like you're about to shoot me?" Minjae's like, relax. Move aside for a sec." Chansok is confused because for a moment he thought his teammate was about to turn into a villain. But nope. Minjae starts blasting monsters. And Chansok goes, "Why are you shooting like that? Are you farming XP, or what?" Minjae explains, "Nah." After the mission ends, a scrap dealer comes and collects stuff from the bodies. "We planted microchips in them." Yeah, apparently, even monsters have tracking devices now. Welcome to modern fantasy. He says the bodies are too big and heavy to carry, so dealers collect the valuable parts later, sell them, take their cut, and send the rest of the money to dead hunters' families. Chansok is like, "And we trust these guys?" Minjae says, "Only if you pick a good dealer. Otherwise, yeah, you're getting scammed." Great system. Then Minjae starts praising Chansok, saying how crazy strong he is for taking out so many monsters alone. And of course, right when they're talking, boom. A giant monster jumps in. Classic timing. Chansok instantly pushes Minjae out of the way like a movie hero and asks, "You good?" The monster starts smiling, which is never a good sign. Chansok looks at it and goes, "Yeah, that's not a normal mob. That's a mid-boss. It looks like some cursed mix of a goblin, a chupacabra, and a gym bro." He realizes this thing is probably the leader of the pack, and the magical energy coming off it is insane. So he tells them, "Back off. Don't interfere. I'll handle this." Sangha and Minjae are like, "If we team up, we can buy time and escape." Chansok says, "Nope. Retreat. Unless you want to go home in a body bag." Straight to the point. He explains that if he fights alone, he can use his black flames freely without worrying about hurting them. So he basically says, "All right, ugly. Let's go." And then, the battlefield turns into a disaster movie. Groundbreaking. Trees flying. Chaos everywhere. From far away, Minjae starts panicking. Guys? He looks like he's losing." Sangha says, "Relax. He hasn't even been hit once." She notices something weird. Every time Chansok stabs the monster, black flames stick to it like cursed glue. And the more flames it gets, the slower it becomes. At first, it looked like Chansok was struggling. Now, he's playing with it. Sangha is like, "How is this guy a rookie? There is no way." Then the monster charges again. Chansok steps back, grips his spear, and throws it straight into the air. Minjae and Sangha are like, "Biaro? Did you just drop your weapon?" The monster rushes at him. And right before it hits, freeze. The monster collapses. The spear comes crashing down from above and pins it to the ground. Perfect timing. Chansok says, "Yeah, you burned all your stamina. Time to die," and finishes it. Minjae is shocked. Wait. He was losing 5 seconds ago. What just happened? Turns out, Chansok was weakening it the whole time with those flames. Next, Chansok asks something important. "Is it normal for monsters like this to be here?" Minjae says, "No, it shouldn't be. Unless this is a grade 3 erosion zone." Chansok remembers. But this place was ungraded before, which means it leveled up. Bad news. Sangha says, "But the briefing didn't say that." Chansok replies, "Then explain this mess. If it's not grade 3, none of this makes sense." Minjae agrees. He says the gap between ungraded and grade 3 is massive, like beginner versus final boss. If this is true, most hunters here won't survive. So Minjae says, "We should go help the others. With your strength, we can save them." Chansok says, "No, straight up." He explains he can't magically find everyone on the island. He has limits. Their mission is to destroy monsters, not play superhero. Sangha challenges him. "What if you were trapped like them?" Chansok says he understands emotions. But emotions don't save lives. Reality does. People die in this world. That's unavoidable. And hesitating only gets you killed faster. Cold, but honest. They move to an abandoned building to set up base. It's empty. No monsters. Good news. Minjae checks his scanner, and says he can see other hunters' lights. Chansok frowns. Lights reveal your position. That's dangerous. If weak monsters come, it's fine. But if another boss shows up, disaster. So he sends out a warning message to everyone about the strong monster and possible grade 3 upgrade. Inside the building, Minjae draws a map and explains everything. Chansok confirms. If we destroy the erosion core, all monsters disappear. Simple mission. Find core. Destroy it. Go home. Sangha and Minjae fall asleep. Chansok sets up an alarm device and quietly leaves. He remembers where the core is from the briefing and thinks, wow, this is going too smoothly. Instant red flag. Then he hears growling from the forest. He sighs. Of course, thinking it's the same monster again, he slowly turns around and sees a giant bat monster staring straight at him. Yeah, round 2. Meanwhile, back at the Hunter Association's situation room on the island, absolute chaos is happening. People are running around, screens are flashing red, and someone shouts that Team 5 has completely gone offline. Which, in Hunter language, basically means, yeah, they're probably dead. Reports start coming in saying the monsters aren't just randomly attacking anymore. They're moving in groups, like they have a strategy. That's when one worker slams his desk and goes, hold on. This zone was supposed to be unranked. What is this mess? Everyone realizes this is turning into a disaster. So they start sending emergency requests, calling for reinforcements, and trying to stabilize the situation. Then another guy suddenly says, wait, someone is heading straight toward the erosion core. Everyone freezes. The supervisor asks, who is crazy enough to do that? The guy checks the data and replies, it's Chansok, from Team 8. Instantly, they recognize him as the same guy who first suspected the zone had leveled up. The supervisor says, connect to him right now. If anyone knows what's happening, it's him. They link to his terminal, and suddenly his live feed appears. And what do they see? Chansok sprinting for his life with a giant bat dog monster chasing him like it's a horror movie. He's yelling into the mic. This thing is way faster than I expected. Did you people even check this zone properly? He starts roasting the entire control team, blaming them for messing up the ranking. Someone suggests muting him, but at least they're relieved he's alive. While running, Chansok explains that his current black flame isn't strong enough to instantly kill high-level monsters. He has to slowly weaken them and then finish them with his spear. The problem? This monster refuses to slow down. And on top of that, he already drained too much mana earlier fighting the bat boss. So now he's way weaker than usual. He can't leave the island, and he can't outlast this thing. So he needs to find a place with dense mana, fast. Then he suddenly spots something ahead. He says, found it. He's been following the strongest mana flow, and it leads straight to a portal. The monster keeps chasing him. He looks back and smirks, saying, try to keep up, and jumps in. In the control room, alarms go off. His signal disappears. Someone says, he's entered the core. Inside the erosion space, Chansok looks around and realizes it's way bigger than he expected. He remembers hearing that unranked and grade 3 zones don't expand this much. So if this is already this huge, then rank 1 and 2 zones must be nightmares. Before he can think further, the monster sneaks up behind him. Chansok sighs and says, all right, let's finish this. I'm not into long relationships. The monster roars. Chansok explains that his biggest weakness is his black flame spreads to everything alive, friend or foe. If it goes out of control, he can't use it. Normally, that's dangerous. But right now, he's alone. No teammates. No civilians. Which means no restrictions. He releases his flame completely, burning the monster from head to toe. And then, something changes. Mana starts swirling around his chest. His body starts reacting. He says the mana he absorbed is spreading through his veins, strengthening his meridians, reinforcing his body. He takes a deep breath and admits, that was better than expected. Meanwhile, the monster is screaming in pain because its energy is being drained. Chansok notices water rippling around him and looks up. And of course, more bat monsters appear. He laughs. Too bad. Numbers don't matter anymore. He wipes them out instantly with his flames. He admits he's stronger now, but still far from his old peak. Then he starts looking for the real target. The core should be the strongest one here. Suddenly, he hears a voice. Fire. One out. Before he can react, something attacks. He dodges just in time as the ground shatters. He realizes the enemy waited until his flame weakened. It even announced the timing. That means only one thing. This thing is the core, and it's on a whole different level. Chansok grins and says, "All right, 4-hit combo should do it." He rushes in, swinging his spear wildly to confuse it. He thrusts at its chest. It blocks, but cracks start forming in its weapon. Chansok explains that his technique is called Dual Moon Spear. When he strikes, a blue trail appears, repeating the attack multiple times. 4 chain hits. But the scary part? The delayed timing. Each hit comes slightly later, making it nearly impossible to dodge. Enemies eventually slip up. He pierces the monster's side. Blue trails explode around it. He closes in. It's over. This time, he unleashes 6 consecutive strikes, each one stacked with the technique. The monster screams one last time and begins fading away. Silence. Then suddenly, a reward box appears in his hands. He stares at it, surprised. He didn't expect anything like this. Back in the control room, things are getting worse. The zones are spreading. Team 9 has gone offline. People are shouting, crying, panicking. One guy just stares at the screen, whispering, "It's over. We're finished." He thinks all they can do now is watch hunters die. Then someone shouts, "Wait." Message incoming from Chansok. Everyone turns. Put it on screen. Now, the message appears. Alpha Erosion Core has been cleared. For a second, nobody speaks. Then other teams confirm it. The monsters are disappearing. The zones are collapsing. Someone laughs in disbelief. A miracle actually happened. And finally, we see Chansok standing outside, looking up at the sky, breathing calmly. He smiles slightly and says, "Man, the air feels really good right now." Back outside on the battlefield, things are getting ugly fast. Monsters are everywhere and Sangha is basically going full anime protagonist mode, blasting lightning nonstop. She's swinging so hard that her wrist starts shaking, and eventually she has to hold her sword with both hands just to keep going. She pants and says there are way more monsters than during the daytime. And on top of that, Chansok is still missing. Minjae stands back to back with her, trying to cover her blind spot, and nervously asks if she thinks they're even making it out alive. Their shelter is already destroyed, their stamina is gone, and everything feels hopeless. Sangha admits he's already at his limit, and she's barely hanging on too. Then some smaller monsters start swarming in. She tries to rush forward, but suddenly her legs go numb. Her body just gives up, and she starts falling. Minjae shouts her name, but he can't even help because another monster jumps him. For a moment, everything goes silent. Then Sangha slowly opens her eyes, and what she sees makes her freeze. Every monster around them is turning into black mist. They're just disappearing, like someone pressed the delete button. Not long after, the remaining hunters regroup. Chansok shows up casually and looks around, asking why so many people are injured and if something crazy happened while he was gone. Team 8 stares at him like he just walked out of a movie scene. Then it hits them. This guy cleared the entire erosion source by himself. Minjae waves at him and says he was shocked when he got that text about him going solo. He says something dramatic like his heart moved before his body and he just wanted to protect everyone. Sangha and Minjae immediately realize he's lying through his teeth, but Chansok keeps acting like a saint and says if he knew things would get this bad, he would have rushed back earlier. Then a man approaches and introduces himself as Jong Tae-sang, the Northern District Branch Manager. Chansok recognizes the name as the guy who sent him here. Jong Tae-sang says the mayor wants to meet him personally. Chansok mutters that old people really love ordering others around and remembers nobody even told him what the reward was for clearing a grade 3 zone. Another official arrives, introducing himself as Piljae, a cooperation officer. He escorts Chansok inside, explaining that the mayor was so shocked by the report that he canceled his entire schedule. Chansok shrugs and says it's not like he did anything special. Piljae tells him that a rookie solo clearing a grade 3 hasn't happened since legendary times. Even Chansok admits it was tough, and whoever did it back then must have been a monster. They arrive at the office. Piljae announces his arrival, and the mayor greets him. Park Ji-hyun introduces himself, apologizes for calling him out in bad weather, and offers him coffee. The mayor praises him, saying he's done a great service for the country and that the island was a huge problem, but budget issues made it hard to hire big guilds. Chansok replies that he must be relieved now since it was solved cheaply. The mayor agrees and mentions this was Chansok's first official request. He says he's proud such talent started in his city. Then he starts giving a long political speech about logistics, airports, investors, and money flowing through Incheon, basically saying their city is rich and he can make Chansok successful. Chansok remembers when Jong Tae-sang once asked him why he became a hunter and answers honestly that if a toilet's clogged, someone has to unclog it. Jong Tae-sang laughs and says he'll probably become famous soon, and that fame brings ads and commercials. Chansok jokes that he sounds worried about that. Jong Tae-sang explains many hunters lose themselves once they get popular while dangerous zones still exist, and Korea is one of the few safe places left. Chansok's actions gave people hope, so he wants him to stay clean and responsible. Chansok listens and then asks how much he's planning to pay him. After that speech, he says he's lived too long and suffered too much to be moved by pretty words. Then he straight up calls out the mayor, saying he probably wants him to help boost his approval ratings. Ji-hyun is shocked, but recovers quickly. Chansok explains smartphones show everything, and he knows the mayor's term is ending and re-election looks unlikely. The mayor admits he's very direct. Chansok continues, saying that legally the mayor had to approve his mission, so now he wants to spin the story and claim he discovered him, basically taking credit. Ji-hyun keeps going, explaining he has many business connections and could make Chansok the face of brands, even the coffee they're drinking. There are endless opportunities. Chansok suddenly slams his cup down and asks if he really looks that cheap. Ji-hyun is confused. Chansok explains the world is desperate for heroes right now and everything the mayor is offering, he's going to earn himself anyway. Ji-hyun tries again, saying he can give him safe, high-paying missions. Chansok replies that it's a terrible deal and sarcastically tells him to congratulate the coffee model instead, since they'll probably renew their contract. Somewhere else, under a bridge, a shady guy kneels in front of someone in a hoodie and apologizes, saying the island test failed. The hooded man says it's fine. The kneeling guy adds there is good news and shows footage from the hunter exam. It's Chansok's fight against Se-yoon. The hooded man watches it and laughs, saying that's pretty impressive.